everybody, it's Carmen from the Northshore Schools Foundation, and I am here to give you a little update on grants and Northshore Gives and which is which and how to apply. This is made for ambassadors, although you may share it as you deem fit. So I'm going to do a little bit of sharing my screen, doing all sorts of stuff, and we'll just kind of play along. So one of the #1 things that the Northshore Schools Foundation does is that we offer funding for teachers and classrooms and educators. So our grants are available to any person who's employed at the school district. We also allow PTAs to use the grant system, and we also allow educators. Sometimes we use the term teacher, and we're actually meaning all educators. So anybody can apply to use the system. The Northshore Gives platform or a crowdsourcing platform actually can be available to another level of people. People who are doing projects that affect schools and children can work with us, and we'll decide if it's appropriate, and I'll kind of show you some of those. Hopefully you've all been to this little place. It's called the Northshore Schools Foundation website. As ambassadors, this is where all the information lives. Interestingly, in general, this blog is actually where the current information is. So if you're ever wondering, hey, did Carmen say something or what's going on, you can always click the blog. It will populate maybe in a minute. Here it comes. Wow, I didn't know it took this long to put, and tell you some of the things that are happening. But for the purposes of this, what I want to talk about is how you get a grant. So this button up here is request support, and you click it. Sometimes if you're not careful, you end up clicking this or this. So you have to go all the way up there and into the blog, or the request support option is. These are the subcategories, and it will block you down to the bottom. So request for classrooms is what we're talking about. As a side note, requests for funds for district-wide initiatives, those typically would come from a director level or a principal level, and it would affect at least 4 schools and at least 1 school in every feeder pattern. So it's like a district-wide movement. So more appropriate for directors of the school district. You guys are really working with this request funds for classrooms. Click, click. So you push the button, and here are the rules, here are the directions, and I'm going to talk through them, and then I'm going to take you through it because I think it's better. There are, like I said, there's 2 things, but everything happens at this platform called Foundation Give. But before you do anything, you have to get an account, which is kind of weird. So you get an account, which means you apply for an account, and I'll show you how to do that. And then we approve it, and then you have an account, and then you get to choice between grants and crowdsourcing. Both are on the same module. Grants are great for classroom projects, things that are, I don't know, things that maybe wouldn't work for crowdsourcing, like people might not be interested in funding. So I guess I should start with crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is great for things that you typically would need to give, scholarships for, and things that you're collecting money from teacher or from parents, and you're like, I really wish that I didn't have to do this. It's been really successful. I like to talk about, and thanks for joining us, Anisha and Hillary. I'm just kind of going through this little recording. So crowdsourcing is great for things that people might want to help fund, things that people love, things that people will get excited about. We've seen a lot of success with like our senior projects. When junior parents have wanted to raise money for senior class activities, Northshore Gives has been great. When schools want to get t-shirts for everybody and don't want to collect $5 for everybody, they want to allow people to have a charitable option. That has worked really well too. So that's crowdsourcing. And again, I'll show you some of the campaigns on that. A grant works for anything traditional. The limits are kind of around 1,000 for elementary schools and 2,000 for middle schools and high schools. However, this year we're saying, if you need more, just talk to us first, talk to your ambassador or us. And I guess you guys are ambassadors. So the question, you just give us a quick call. You give myself, or Kim is actually kind of taking this on. So you can always get Kim if you can't get me, which you can get us both. You'll see some deadlines here for the grants. That's new this year. We've been through a lot of different, what do they call this? Revisions of this. At one point, it was once a year, then it was twice a year. Then the last couple of years, we've had no deadlines, and that has been really confusing for educators. So we went back to an every other month timeframe all year long. So hopefully this is going to allow teachers access or educators access anytime they want. So like I said, you start the process by doing register. So I'm going to show you that because there's some funny things about it. If you are a student, a school teacher or staff, that's what you choose. Oddly, if you are an ambassador, please choose that as well, because for some reason it has different limits. So you're going to choose school teacher or staff. Find your foundation. You're going to type in Northshore. There we go, Northshore Schools Foundation. Here's the best part. Everyone goes, hey, my school is not here. Well, it is. It just only rolls to that. So like, hey, there's no Maywood. So I'm going to register for Maywood, but you can type it in. I could also type in what I can't see is Wellington. Who knows? I don't know why they did this, but I'm going to put Maywood back because I think when Sonia gets the note, I can put in my name. I can put in my number. Hopefully it'll autofill. That'd be awesome. Okay, there's my phone number. There's my email. There's my city. I don't know why they want to know that. My time zone. Nobody knows why you want to know that. And I'm not a robot. I'm going to change this to info so that it doesn't go to my other account. I do not have the right format, so of course that's not helpful, but there you go. Let's see if this works. I push register and it goes, and like, what the heck? I do not have permission to assign users to this school. What the heck? Oh, because I lost this. So fun. I bet this is fun for you to make, for me to tell you that it's super easy and then have these problems, but there we go. Let's try this. There we go. I am not a robot. Register. I don't know what's going on now. That makes me feel dumb. I am going to try one more time. I'm going to change schools just so that I can, because I usually do secondary. I do that one. And let's see, if this doesn't work, then I'm really going to have to double check it, but I am going to keep going on. Okay, I'm not getting in. I don't know if it's because of my email or something. So I apologize for this. And we will double check if this doesn't work. But typically, we get an email back on our side that says, hey, this person has applied for an account, and we push approve, and that happens in less than 24 hours and typically much faster. So once you are approved, I'm going to show you. I'm going to log out and log back in to my user account, which is what you guys will do. So I have a different password here. I type in my email, my password, which when you get the email back from us approving it, you then get to choose a password. The secret to finding the stuff on all of this is to do a search for Foundation Give, all one word. Okay, that's the secret. That's what we tell everyone to do. Okay, and here I am. This is the dashboard that you should see. You will not see it if you're signed up as a PTO member, because for some reason they don't allow you to see grants. And so you need to be signed up as an educator. If you are signed up inaccurately right now, you can call us, send an email to Kim, and we can make that change on the back end. I'm going to show you the back end eventually. So here's the decision point. Do I want a grant or do I want a campaign? It leads with campaigns, which is the word for crowdsourcing, which is the word for Northshore gives. We're going to start with this. I have signed myself up to be a SAS member. I push new campaign. It's going to ask me what school. Again, maybe the school won't do anything. Hi, Hillary. Do you have a question?
Go ahead. Regarding the login where you are right now. So I have a login because I'm part of the committee that reviews the grants. Would I be able to do all this under that, or do I need to have a totally separate one?
You have to have a separate one.
Okay.
And it's because you log into seeing something totally different when you're on the committee.
Okay, I thought that might be the case. Thank you.
No, you're fabulous. I love it. Okay, so going through this this whole campaign thing, I'm going to just choose a project for, I am going to go on a field trip to see Picasso because I really want to do that. I can just spell field trip. Now, I hopefully, because this is a marketing thing, hopefully I've thought of something more amazing, like, you know, Starry Night Day or something people would like, so that you want the shortest that you can, but will tell people what they want, but is also kind of sexy, for lack of a better word. You'll see that the slug, which is actually the address, auto fills with whatever you type up here. So the best thing to hear is shorten this as much as possible. You want it to be short because then you have to, who knows about my spelling. So then once I've done that, it will, I'll show you the pens down here. It'll show you the actual slug will be much shorter, and that is good. Then the goal. So the goal is how much you need to make. And what you'll see, let's say I need $10,000 for this. You'll see that the displayed goal shows up to be much more. Well, what that does is it covers the cost of the program. It covers the cost of taxes. It covers all the operating costs. So if we meet this goal, you get this whole 100,000. If you don't meet this goal, we give you a percentage, or hopefully all that you raised, and just try to absorb the fees depending on what we can do. Okay, but you don't ever have to worry about fees and all that stuff. It's just worked right in. Start date and time, whatever start date and time you choose is the moment it becomes visible. So if you try to put it in the future, you won't be able to share it, or if you share it, you won't be able to see it. So best to say now. You have this choice between how long it's going to last. Until provided end time and date, even if donations exceed the need amount. I'll talk through the pros and cons of this. Until need amount is reached, or it's been active for 5 months, whichever comes first. Until need amount is reached, or the campaign reaches the end time, whichever comes first. So it depends on what your project is. A lot of people just want to put this end time out there as large as possible, you know, whenever, like, they want to let it just go for a long time. But it's best to have a short campaign, 4 to 6 weeks, so that when you're telling people about it, you're like, hey, help us meet this goal. You want to have a timeliness about it. So I'm going to choose, well, this is actually perfect. So you push the little thing, right? That is literally 6 weeks from now, which I love, or 7 weeks from now. So I love that date. If I want it, so if I choose and provided until end date and time, that means that this will be open until this date, no matter how much money comes in. So if we make $200,000, it will keep collecting money. So you make this choice ethically. If you make more money, can you use it on the project you're telling? If you can't, then that would not be the right option. The next one says until need amount is reached, or campaign's been active for 5 months. Well, hopefully you're not active for 5 months. Need amount is reached would mean, okay, you made your 10,000 or your 11,000, 37.53. You've made it. It will then close, and it actually sends you a note that says, hey, it's been closed. So that works for something that actually has a cost. It only costs as much. So if you're buying a lot of books, you might want until it can exceed the amount. But if you're going on a field trip and you know how much it costs, that would be the good choice. Until need amount is reached, or campaign reaches a end time, that is probably the best option consistently, because when you meet your goal, it stops, or after 6 weeks, it stops, and then you can kind of move on and decide if you want to spend the money. Happy to talk with you through what makes sense. But remember that timeliness and telling people you want them to support it is always good, that they can see it in their future. If I say support this by March, no one's going to like that. These are auto chosen. Okay, I can't choose these. The reason they're important is, and I want you to use as many as possible, is as a donor, if somebody is interested in business and they donate to another campaign that's business, this will show up as another option. So it helps donors find things they care about. So you're helping them do that. The cool part about the Northshore Gives or campaign is that this is all the information you have to fill out. This is made for people to read, not grant reviewers. This is for the community. So this is your kind of sexy, happy, why we need support about this. Totally different than a grant, because it's just more of a sales marketing communication. Again, we're happy to help you with the foundation once you kind of do the who, what, where, why, when, starting with the why. Great to have a quote. You can insert links, you can insert pictures here. And I'll show you some of these in a second that are good. Then this is really important, and people have been missing it. You choose an art or you upload a new one. A lot of people are missing this. So I have a lot of things for music that have the basketball guy up. That doesn't make any sense. So if this isn't accurate for people, they're going to see the picture first and it won't make sense to them. So take the time to find a picture that works and upload it. So when you upload it, it's just like anything else. You go to pick, wherever your thing is. I want this to have a picture of something that's a picture, wherever I have a picture. Oh, a QR code. Yeah, I for sure want that. No, I don't. But you can't see it until you see it. But okay. that, and then it's ready. And when I choose save and submit for approval, oh, I didn't write anything in there. See, it stopped me. How great is that? Amazing opportunity to see art in real life. Hopefully you're way better than that. Okay, I've done it. I choose save and submit for approval. And what happens next is whoever my principal is at the school now receives this and they review it. The principals are responsible for checking to see if it meets CMAQ requirements, if they're willing to have that program happen at their school, if it meets their goals. So that has to happen. The best thing you can do is once you submit a grant is to talk to your administrator and say, hey, do a search for Foundation Give and approve my campaign. But if they don't get to that, I will, myself or Kim will actually send it to them and say, hey, is this approved? So we'll do that right around the deadline date. So don't worry too much. Once this gets approved, it then comes to us. And so on our end, which I can't show you from here because I can't approve it from the school from here, it will go to us and then we approve it and then it becomes live. I'm going to, can I get in here and do this? I can. I'm going to just quickly go, this is the backside. Oh, I did it twice. We don't know why. This is what I would see. I see field trip to Picasso. It says requires school approval. Like I said, well, usually I can do that, but of course, every time you try to do it, I don't know what's going on. Usually I can say approve. Okay, well, that's awesome. I'm not gonna worry about that, but anyway, I get it. And then it goes live. Let's take a second and look at some campaigns that are working on, that are alive. Right? Oh, that's not the right person. I don't know if I can have two people logged on at once. That's my problem. Okay, I'm going to take you through the, I am going to take you through the other application and then show you my side. Okay, so that is Northshore Gives. You choose campaigns, you write something fun, you choose how long it is. But grants are what is much more familiar. Making me log back in. Applying for a grant, again, you have the deadlines that need to be met. And they're written here. December 30th is the next one, February 28th, April 30th. Here's the rules, all that. And then I want to do, so there's two options, a new grant application. If you want to save your work, you have to put hold on. Okay, you have to put a number in. So let's say we do encourage you to write this in Word, which if you are on our website, here are the questions. So here's what you need to know for the campaigns, and here's what you need to know for the grant. So you can cut and paste these. When you're an ambassador, what I ask you to do is when a teacher wants some assistance or educator wants some assistance, I actually just want you to interview them. Take notes for them so that they have something, a starting point, kind of think about how overwhelming it is to look at a blank piece of paper. So best case scenario, yeah, let me sit down, talk to you or talk to you on the phone and you ask them these questions and you take some notes and then you send it back to them and let them finish it. That's the best option. If you decide to submit it for them, you can, but I'm gonna tell you why I don't love that as much, but you you gotta serve people. We love it. Okay, so I'm back in the application. Oops, I'm in the application. If I don't think I'm going to get it done or I'm writing it straight in here, if in order to save it, there has to be a number here. If there's no number there, it won't save. But if I do that, I can save. It's the last thing on there. Who knows why? Not good. So title is again now. So this you're talking to grant reviewers. So we have a grant review committee that's made up of, well, I mean, there's some previous ambassadors, there's local community members, there's board members. And they all work together to rate the grants. And then based on budget availability, we assign them. But you're talking to them. So I want it to make sense. Family dynamic, that's just what it autofilled. Anyway, you want to be talking to them. This short description of project is actually what we will publish when we tell people what the grant was for. So that's what it's made for. So I've got family dine out. So I'm going to be like, okay, that's dumb. I shouldn't do family dine out. Let's do what we're seeing a lot of justice books, providing social justice books for K-5 at Arrowhead, except for it's ASP, you know what I mean? And then that is actually what will get published the most about it. Now you start talking to grant readers, and we're looking for kind of the overall overview, and we give you a lot of questions in one, so you don't have to fill out a lot of questions. So what do you want funds for? When are you doing the project? Who's involved? How many people? Who's the teachers? And how long does this happen for? So for this, it's like, I want to purchase books for every 5th, you're not gonna have that typo, grade classroom. Actually, and not having typos really does matter because it's concerning to the committee when there's typos. We will purchase the books in fall. We think we are planning to buy XX books. Okay, this is when you can do a link to something if you want. You can describe it at a level that makes people know, you want them to know everything about this. Next, and I'm going to show you the evaluation too. Next, what sparked your interest to offer this project? We're looking for your inspiration. What are the the inspiration behind the grant? We give classroom grants to inspire learning, inspire teachers to be excited about learning, and to inspire kids to be excited about learning. So that's what this question is looking for. Like, why are you excited about this? And usually it says, I went to a conference, or I talked to a colleague, or something. But that's what we need to know, because that is actually why we give them anyway. This question, due diligence in determining best value for your funding request. This is a result of wanting to make sure that you've done your homework. Many times, a simple search will tell you that things have different costs at different places. And we want to make sure that wherever the educator is planning to buy this item or whatever, that it makes sense and they're using dollars smartly. Then we can report back to our donors and tell them, hey, we know that they did their due diligence. This is an important question in that we want to know how this relates to the district strategic plan, which look, you click right here and you go to it. It's magical. Well, again, it's super slow today. This is important because we want to make sure that all the work we do at the school district or at the foundation supports, like we're all going in the same direction. So grant requests really need to have a tie with one of these these are the pillars, and then here's the goals. So you can choose any one of these. You can choose the goals and say, well, I think this helps students develop intellectual curiosity. You can, so basically you're using the goals or the equity means. Either one of those will work for you. You can cut and paste them. You can just reference them, but that's what we're looking for. And the reason we're looking for it is to make sure we're all on the same page. That's still not the right account. I'm closing that one. Going back. Goal 3, because X, Y, Z. All right. I wish this could be yes, no question. It isn't. Yes, that's all I need there. I don't need another thing. This is, so what else? I should probably tell you this. We're making sure that you're going to provide, if you get the grant, you're going to follow the funding timelines, that you'll ask your students to do some donor acknowledgements, which includes thank you cards, things like that. We'll have you fill out an impact report at the end of the year, which again is a jot form to just collect data. It's going to ask you, how do you know that this project made a difference? And we'll call on you and ask you to share your story with us on occasion. That's what that is. And here, look. Oh, that doesn't look like that hyperlink works, does it? No. Guess who needs to fix that? That will be right there when I fix it. Have you previously been awarded a foundation grant? This is just for our knowledge. It does not affect your ability to get one or not. What it is informing us is, are we getting the word out to new teachers or only the same teachers applying? Which is fine because we want to help all the teachers. Then we're curious about this. Did you work with your foundation's ambassador? Well, if you're watching this and you're an ambassador, then the answer is yes. Again, no effect. Your ambassador doesn't get in trouble. You don't get your grant or not get your grant, but it just tells us that information so that we know what we need to do differently and how we can support our ambassadors better. This, how students will benefit. How are you going to measure the success as a result of this grant? So we want to know, like we said, diversity books, like kids are going to, or social justice books, kids are going to learn about social justice. They're going to learn of their own self-efficacy, how to identify what they care about and act appropriately. And I'm going to measure that by a pre evaluation and a post evaluation. We're going to have a survey in the middle of it. We are going to have a test on it. We're just looking for something measurable. Again, people give us money and expect that we're going to do good things with it. And we need to be able to report back that, yes, this is how I know. So this is why how we are going to know that students benefit. This right here is probably the main thing that you end up stopping at. You report on in the impact report. So you can say, I noticed that this kid, my favorite one is like, we got this note from a teacher that said in a teacher conference, the parent said, oh, how's my child doing? I know how shy they are. And the teacher said, what? No, I don't have that experience at all. And that teacher had gotten funding to build a stage in their classroom. And that stage, every time, so whenever the kids shared, they got to the stage and it worked for that student really well. So as soon as they got to the stage, they were like, I'm easy to share up here. Anyway, cool. You can demonstrate self-esteem. That's a great story. I want to tell donors that all day long, right? You changed your little girl's life. This is a good day. So that's what's for there. How does this align with us? Again, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is in alignment. Like, if you want to do a pet show, that's cool, but probably shouldn't be asking for money from us. But anything with us, and again, here you go, this will take you there. We'll take you there. It's very slow today. And you can push the mission values. This is it. You just choose this. Hey, students are going to thrive during this activity. You win. We're going to remove barriers, build skills for life, all that. You have all those options. Here's our values. How does it support that? Here's our core areas of funding. You can say how you support any one of those, anything like that, what you're doing to make a difference for kids that's in alignment with the foundation's work. Then you get to the budget and finance. So what I hate about it is books. You have to find the place between being specific enough that the grant reviewers go, okay, they know what they're talking about, and being broad enough that it doesn't take you 18 hours to fill this out. So I don't really want to see books. I get one book for $12.99. Oh my gosh, why is it doing this? $12.99, and then return. Oh, I get a book. Wait, a book is, I put the title here or something. No. This is not a social justice book. Add another item. I don't need that level of detail. You can say books and then do your math and tell us what it is with the tax, include the tax. So it's actually $9.83. You've probably got an Amazon list or you have an idea what you need before this. So you want to do that as much as possible. I encourage you to add tax and shipping and delivering if you know it, because then we know how to pay for it and you don't have to pay for it. That's another cost, whatever you come up with. And see how hi, cute kids, see how the goal came to 1,040. Yeah, we're not going to be freaked out about that, especially when we see that the content is $1,000 and the other stuff is other. Make sense? Save and submit for approval. What is that? Again, here's what happens. It goes to your principal. So the principal just receives that and they push approve. Again, then the foundation receives it. I'm going to show you that on the back end. And then it goes to our committee. I am going to log, and it's still here, and you can log back in and play with it again. Oh, is this a new one? Yeah. See how I don't have any answers here, but because there is money in it, it stayed alive. But if I had not put that in there, it would not be there. Okay. I know you're not asking a ton of questions because I only have 2 people on, but I'm sure you'll call me about them and we will discuss it. I'm going to log out of this and I'm going to show you the Carmen version of what happens on the back end, because I think that's important. Okay. Whoa, check this out. It's amazing. I'm going to start with the grants. So what I can see is pending school approval. So remember that grant I just did for social justice books? you know, Donna, who's going to be like, Carmen, why are you sending these things? Has not approved it yet. But after I talk to Donna, I can push approve. It says, yep. It says approve. There he goes. And then here's what I was talking about. Then we get it. So we're going to read through it and make sure that it's something we can ensure that we feel good about. And again, Kim and I do that pretty quickly. We approve it. And then it goes to our reviewers. Come on, go to space, do it. Come on. Okay, yes, proceed. Okay, whoops, see, I wanted more from it than it can do. Okay, oops, I'm in campaigns. I want to be in grants. So you can see over here for us, again, not that you mind, but I just want you to know that. So pending reviews, I'm gonna find what I was working on so you can see it on my end. Okay. We get to see this. And there's the reviews. The reviewers. Let me see how I can get that. Schools? No. Foundations? Here you go. The grants. Nope. Foundations. Ah, that's so good. This, yes. And grant settings. Here's where we write things to you, which is boring and you don't really care about. But here is what the grants are evaluated on. So our committee will ask, they will read your application and we will say, how do we believe on a scale of, I think it's 1 to 4. Yeah, 1 to 4. Does the work of this project support the mission, vision, and values of the foundation? Okay, so reviewers decide that. Does this project effectively support and advance one or more of the Northshore School District strategic plans? Again, it goes right to that same question. Was it well written and clear? We are looking at that. Effectiveness of this program can be measured. Like, is this really something that we can know that there was success? Here's the question about budget. Budget is comprehensive and realistic, and due diligence was done to determine the best value. So that's what they're reading for. Adequate research of the project was demonstrated. And then we have a question about how much you love this project, because we want people to be in love with the projects we're doing. And then the final kind of evaluatory fiduciary responsibility is, I believe that foundation donors would feel good about their donation supporting this project. And the question that it seems like it's the same, but it's not, is I believe that foundation donors would believe that supporting this project is a good value for their donation. Okay, so that's what they do. They do that. We get some notes and we get the results, and then we decide what gets funded. So let's look at, I probably should have checked this. Well, here, I'll show you this. So here's the list of grants that have come in. This is all of the grants ever. Just do awarded ones. And here's their ratings. The highest you can get is a 5. And typically if you're under 4, then that puts it into, we're not exactly sure you're gonna hit funding, but if you can beat 4, you're golden. I'm gonna go with this Circle Time Carpet. Here's a great grant. She included a picture. Here's a summary. Here's what it is. This is what I want to buy. What sparked your interest? Just short and sweet. Here's a link to where I think I'm going to buy it. This is why. We've searched. Okay. I think this is going to make a difference. No, I didn't work with Ambassador. Here's how it works with the, here's how they mention this. It aligns with the district's strategic plan, success in early years. Perfect. And here it is, all that. Okay. And then this is, I don't know, probably, this is the overall rating, and it'll tell me, okay, the work supports the mission. It's at 4 or whatever. So if somebody's low, like you can see this one, sorry, their lowest rating was around effectiveness of this project. So if a grant is denied, we can tell you which one of these is not high, so that they can rewrite it and resubmit it to fix that thing. But we don't try to get into too much detail, but it's literally like, okay, if this is low, we'll show you where the low marks are in the type of grant. That is another reason why it's great to keep it in a Word document, because unfortunately you have to resubmit it, because I don't know why, because of the system. Okay, that's on the grant side. Campaigns, here's a Northshore. So again, here's that pending school. Remember I did all these, right? I'm going to reject these because I don't want them in my system. Reason for rejection. So if we reject something, you get a note from me that says, whatever, inappropriate or something. Let's look at some of the projects that are working right now. I am not here at this one. So what you can see is the slug stayed long. I might have had her shorten that, but I haven't had a chance to call her. She chose until amount is given. This is out there right now in a short description. Okay, we need some more of these because I just don't have enough. I got a ton of kids. Changed the art, right? Super cool. Yes, always choose feature. And I'm going to show you what the world sees. So I click this. And the world sees this. Here's her description. Here's who supported it. Thank you so very much. Here's where people donate. And this description, this copy paste, the same thing from, oopsie, what did I just do? This slug is what you share with your donors and your friends and on your website for on your social media for your school. The best way to get this out is to send it out to people who care about it. The foundation is going to do that as well, but we're expecting that you're doing that as well because people care about your school or music will find it. We have lots of donors that check this regularly. And actually this year, I'm really excited because I've got some businesses that are just kind of committing to support a project a month. So I don't know which ones they're going to choose, but really, really cool. I'm going to show you, if you want to see all of the projects that are open, you can do northshoregives.com. I think it's com. Gosh, I hope it's com. Yeah. And it brings you to the full listing of everything that we have out there. So weatherproof canopies. Hey, they're only 64% funded. There's a week left. See how they haven't changed the picture yet? Recess reboot. Hey, that's the right picture for that. How cool. Right now, Ruby Bridges is doing glass funding. This is kids working on glass. So these are what's open. And then you can kind of see, here's the things that have gotten totally funded. The kitchen memorial, like amazing. So I'd check this one out because she rocked it. They won really quick. And that shows me the other thing that I really want to make sure. Ooh, where's the one I just approved? Grants? Is it a grant? Yeah, pending reviews. I'm going to show you, I'm back in the grant, but this is also true about ooh, wait, I might have to log on as my other person. Horrible. Oh, let me log out. Log out. Because there's a place to provide updates. And that is where the money is. That's like so fun. So here's my field trip to see Picasso that I was working on in my campaign. I'm in it. And right. Okay, why didn't that? Of course, every time I tried, because that one was rejected. That will not work. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, I can't. Sorry, I got the wrong one. Submitted. Here's my social book. It'll show you this time. Here's my application, and at the bottom, okay, where did it go? Oh, there's a place to send a, oh my gosh, I can't find it. That's horrible. There's a place to say send an update, but I'm not seeing it. So that's obviously you're not going to see it either. So I will have to find that and do a better job. But sending campaign updates is really cool. And anybody who's donated gets an email. It gets an email that says whatever you sent. This grant application, and you can see right here that 11 grant applicants, the reviewers haven't done it yet. So you can kind of see that we're actually doing our job. You can actually see that it was approved by the school and who approved it. So that's cool, but you can't see that. I wonder about, I'm going to see if I can show you another one that I don't know who's logged into. Let's see, because I'd like to show you that. And then I will be done for now. It did not work because I'm logged in as that. Okay, I apologize. Well, I guess it's fine, right? We're going to make it. Logging out, going back in as Carmen. Okay. Hi, Hillary. Give me 1 second to see this, and then I'll do it. Okay, I set this up, so this should work in Rotary. Aha, see this? This is in progress. New campaign update. So I can write a note that says, oopsie, don't do that, whatever that is. It'd be great. This is a great place for teachers or ambassadors if you can do it. Oh my gosh, do not use that writing. That is insane. I like this. Imagine that you don't have that problem. Okay, you get my picture. Don't do this one. Thank you. You know, Alana loves it. Here's a picture of them working it. Okay, blah, 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 blah. When you push send notification, everybody gets it. And also donors can look onto it. Hillary, what's your question?
So two things. One, I was going to say from the front end, like as Maywood, when they were raising money for the stools, when they wanted to sit outside, they did updates. So when you were talking about that, it was neat because they would say like, oh, we're 50% funded, and they would communicate, and it was like, okay, you know, they're almost there. So as an outsider with, you know, with a student who attends there, it was neat to see the progress. And then they did a good job at communicating.
Wonderful.
Second question was, maybe you're going to get to this. What makes a good grant request versus campaign? And if you touched on that at the very beginning before I joined, I apologize. But as we get requests, what path guides what?
I'm going to stop sharing. And that's a great question. I think that is always the like $50 million question. A grant request is something that's consistent and something that is probably more education focused and a little less shiny. So alternative seating is cool for you and I, but most people in the world wouldn't know what that means. And they're never going to be like, you know what I want to do? I want to buy chairs that are moved so kids can move. They just don't understand it. But you say, I want to get t-shirts for every kid, and somebody remembers having a t-shirt when they couldn't afford one and somebody giving them one. Oh, okay, I get that. You know, SAS has a great one up there right now. They only have 150 kids. They're trying to update their library. You only get so much dollars for every kid. People who love books are like, I want to buy books. So I think it's really thinking like, and Hillary and I happen to be in the chamber together, but I actually often think like, would anybody in the chamber care about this? Like, that isn't a parent. I mean, we want parents to care, but is this something that is bigger than just education speak? And then they're great for things like, oh, you know what? I bet grandma and grandpa would love to donate to this. This would make them so happy. That's what makes Northshore Gives / campaign. I know it's confusing, but we wanted to have kind of a name. That's what makes it amazing. So when you want to fundraise and you don't want to do a whatever-a-thon, and it can be used like that. So.
And can you do both? Could it be like you try the gives and, oh gosh, I'm still $500 short. So I fundraised, I didn't get it. And then I'm going to do a grant request to make up that difference. Is that possible?
It is totally possible, but also we will do, I mean, I do our due diligence as it finishes. So if a campaign comes in and it doesn't have any money, then it doesn't have any money, and we say you might want to apply for a grant, and then you would have to do the whole grant process. If it gets some of the money, the educator gets, we call the educator and we say, okay, can you use the money you got to do something? Like, can you buy 6 books instead of 100? Do you want it? How does that work? If they can't use the money, we actually refund the money to the donors, which is what I really like about it. So if they're like, yeah, I needed to buy the swimming pool and I only got half, so I can't buy the swimming pool, we're like, okay, cool. And we just send that money back to everybody, which I just think is cool. I think that's a cool thing to do. And if you get more, we'll send you more. But let's say you're a little short, and I don't know what a little short is, but you come out a little short. Part of our grant process is we'll go and look at all of the Northshore Gives campaigns that have been completed and see if we can do any fairy godmothering. I mean, we don't have an official process for it, but we'll look and make a decision based on like, is this really a $50 problem? Like, oh my gosh. So depending on how much, but it's the same funds from the foundation. So it's actually, so you might get a grant. So we do that automatically. But if it's really short, you would probably need to write another grant. And that's a great I guess that's a really great reason to have an ambassador, because that's a question that an ambassador would have. And there's just some stuff you wouldn't know by, you'll just have to call and we'll talk it through.
Okay.
Like, I don't think so people are loving the canopies outside, right? For kids to be able to eat outside. We got that as a grant request to the foundation, and we said, no. I mean, the ambassador called and said, hey, what do you think about this? And we were like, I don't know. I'm not feeling that as good use of foundation money, but you could absolutely do a Northshore Gives. So they're doing a Northshore Gives, and they're going to be really successful. And we're going to be like, great, good for you. I'm so glad that worked out. But when I think about you, I'm like, did you really give me money to buy a canopy? I don't know. So that's the other thing too. You're like, yeah, there might be somebody who really thinks that we all need this, but
so it's a different avenue, and then the donors know exactly what project that's going to. So if people care about that, then they want to support it, and that's a good way to facilitate them being able to support it.
Yeah, and I think what's nice, if you go to the Northshore Gift site, I mean, if you do donate, it literally will autofill with other things from your school, other things from your district, and other things that are like whatever category you're in. They'll just autofill on the side. So a donor, and that's not uncommon. I mean, around Christmas time, particularly, or holiday season, a lot of donors are like, we want to help people out. It's hard to adopt a family anymore. Teacher requests out there are going to be successful. And if they wanted to spend $1,000 and the xylophone was only 300, they're going to look for another project. It's another music thing. I think we're in our 3rd or 4th year of this program, and it's just now kind of getting started. And again, the best project we've seen by far has been our junior class parents, or your incoming senior parents running at the end of junior year to fund projects for the seniors. Super successful and really helpful, because parents who have the ability and the finances were able to be really generous and get a tax write-off, and the parents who couldn't afford it didn't have to apply for a scholarship, feel weird. It just got provided by the people who wanted to do it. And I just think that's what we're all about here at Northshore. So I'm going to wrap up the recording, and then I will answer more questions. Again, I know that this isn't albeit, but I hope you learned a little bit. And if you have more questions, please reach out to myself or Kim Rickleton. And Kim's email is kim@nsdfoundation.org. Thank you.